Hey guys, so this video is going to be my official coming out video because I just realized that I had never actually made one. So I'm going to make an incredibly long story as short as possible. But the problem is that I've always been kind of confused at coming out videos. I've always wondered if it's you explaining how you told people or how you figured it all out. I'm assuming, I think the first one is correct, but I think the second one's a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna do a little bit of both. It's kind of funny to me, like, looking back, because now, like, I literally had no idea that I was gay. Like, no idea. I was just so far in that closet. I mean, it was so obvious, but I think I just, like, never thought, like, really thought really hard on the possibility of being gay because it is such a norm to be straight. You know, we grew up with, like, the princess and the prince, it's just like that's the norm. So I just never really thought, like, oh, hey, like, maybe I'm actually not straight. But it is really obvious looking back. I mean, I didn't really, like, mess with guys and, like, hook up with guys really or anything like that. And I always just assumed, oh, I'm picky, like, I haven't found the right one. So how did I figure it all out? Like, how did I eventually figure it out? Because I did figure it out, thankfully. So there I am, a sophomore in high school, very late to the party. I mean, at that age, girls were, like, kissing their friends at parties and everything. I'm like, I literally, like, I wanted nothing to do with that. If anything, I thought it was gross, I just really, didn't, which is why, fortunately, I met someone who is just an inch further out of that closet than I was, just, like, a little bit sure of how they felt. And fortunately we became best friends, and slowly, very slowly became more than best friends. And it was, like, really cute, and it's, like, everything you would imagine for, like, your first love, like, perfect and everything. But I mean, also really toxic. Which is how I eventually told my mom. I remember I was at, like, dance. We must have been, like, fighting over break over, like, text messaging, me and the girl that I was dating. And I was just crying. I was in the bathroom. I was like, Mom, like, you didn't come pick me up. And she did. And in the car, I just remember, like, kind of hinting at it. Like, she's more than my friend. That's why this is, like, such a big deal. I was, like, so dramatic. And she was just like, well, do you like girls? And I was like, I don't know. It was literally the most casual conversation that, like, I've ever had, and it was so awesome. And like, my mom, just asked me, like, oh, well, do you only like girls? Like, try to help me figure it out. And even though I didn't know at that moment, and in that moment I was just like, no, I'm not gay, like, no, even in that moment, like, she's been with me, since that moment till up until now. She's been with me. She's been in the process with me of discovering who I am, which is really amazing. And I'm really lucky to have a mom like that, to have one that would, like, is so casual about it. And it's like, it's fine, like, take your time, and that's how it should be, because it is, like, it's a difficult process. As for my friends, kind of a while after that relationship, not that long after, I was trying to be straight. I was still, like, confused, so I was trying to like guys, or see if I could like them anyway. I wasn't dating this guy, but I was, like, talking to him, and I just felt like, like, it wasn't fair, because I felt like I was forcing everything. I just felt like it wasn't fair, so I told him, that I liked girls, and after that I figured, if I can tell this guy that, that, then why can't I tell my close friends? I also figured if they couldn't accept me, then, I don't need people like that in my life. And I don't need that, like, went over my shoulder, like, not sure if they're my real friends. Luckily, all my friends did accept me and have accepted me, and I've been really, fortunate with that. I haven't lost anyone over it, which is great. If you're afraid of telling your friends, you should, think, well, what kind of friends do I have? Like, are they, like, good friends? Because if they are, they will stick by you, and if they surprise you and shock you and don't, then they just weren't the friends that you thought that you had, like, you don't need people like that in your life. With that being said, if I could give any advice on the subject, which would be a lot of advice. The first thing I'd say is it is a really lengthy process, like coming out and figuring out who you are and telling people, which I'm still in that process. I'm 19 years old, sophomore in college, and I'm still in that, I'm still figuring out who I am. And until very recently, I haven't really been able to be like really confident with who I am. The second thing I would say is follow like your feelings, follow your gut feeling, because your feelings do not lie to you. It's your head that sometimes messes with you, like society in a way, like brainwashing you and telling you certain things. But if you really just like listen to your feelings and just go with what feels natural, you'll get there. You'll get to where you want to be. The last thing I want to say is you don't need to label yourself. And I know that that's said a lot, but it needs to continue to be said, because you don't need to label yourself. I mean, it is helpful in society to say who you are, because it's like your identifier, your label, like gay, bisexual. It's easy for other people to know who you are, but don't mistake that for like your definition, and don't mistake that for other people's definitions as well, because it doesn't define you. I think we know by now the world isn't black and white. There's much more gray, and we're much more fluid creatures, I'd like to think. That kind of sounds gross. But yeah, so that's my coming out story. It's about time. I'm gonna drink my tea, because it's probably cold now, because I've been talking for a really long time. I feel like maybe... Oh, I just can't do this.